The race in Austin is here, and it's a very great sprint race. The two McLaren are out on turn one, not of their own fault, through the fault of Nico Hülkenberg. He single-handedly took 3 cars out. Alonso, Piastri, and Lando Norris. Lando Norris had a bad start. Piastri got a better of him, wanted to do a switch and roll on him, but Nico Hülkenberg arrived earlier and was able to join the party and make it more interesting. And the interest he brought into the party created a hula hooper, and that was the end of the race for him. McLaren boys is a bad one for them. Chipping away points every race to Max Verstappen. This is getting crazier, very close. I hope they will have a good qualifying and a good race tomorrow. But one thing we saw today was Max Verstappen is beatable in Austin. With the pace today and what we saw is beatable. Probably tomorrow they might make some adjustment to the car because the rear end of that car is not stable. The rear is just everywhere. It's just dancing jeddy everywhere. I hope they're able to do something on the rear. But whatever they do on the rear, with the pace of the Mercedes against Max Verstappen, if the McLaren are on the race, they will just finish it out. Charles Leclerc was able to jump Lewis Hamilton because of the brouhaha. Oscar Piastri blocked him. Not of Oscar Piastri is knowing. Oscar Piastri was trying to park the car because his car was off. And Lewis Hamilton didn't know. So Charles Leclerc jumped him. But all through the race, Lewis Hamilton stayed in contention, charged his battery and jumped his teammate. Showed him that, yes, he's getting better of the car, though it's late for him in the season. He got closer to the Williams, but the Williams are just out of the reach for them. Carlos Sainz was another beast today. Lewis Hamilton got closer, but was unable to stay in the slipstream of that Williams. The aerodynamics of the Williams is crazy. Now, I said in their head video that this place is hot. Not as hot as Singapore. Singapore is hot, but the humidity is high in Singapore. But here, this is really hot. The track condition was around 40-45 degrees today. But the cooling of the car was another thing. And if you look at it, we saw Max Verstappen running that car low. I don't know what they've done with their car. They've been able to run the car lower and gain time, in which McLaren have not been able to run lower. If McLaren can run lower, like the Red Bull are running, it's going to be a crazy one in this competition, the last 5 races. We saw some improvement, and tomorrow will be different. A great one to Yuki Tsunoda. His team principal apologized to him yesterday. He was sorry where they put him out, and he redeemed himself today. He got the best of stats. The whole shenanigans in front of him, jumped from 18th to 7th, then got a good position. 2 points for him from no point. Oliver Bierman, at the end of the day, 10-second penalty, coming out and joining the track in his espionage. Kimi Antonelli and Oliver Bierman, to me, today they drove beautiful race. They are just in sync, as in they're just there like, we want to see how the progress is, and those two young lads are doing a terrific job. Tomorrow will be another race in which you are going to see a new thing, and I can tell you tomorrow is going to be very interesting, more than what we saw today. And I think everybody would have learned a lot of things. They come out of Parc Fermé, go into qualifying, and the setup, hope they don't overcompensate, which might affect them. And also to us, the upgrade they has brought, I can't say it's an upgrade. No point today. Ocon and Stroll also out. I think that should be Ocon's fault, because Lance Stroll, dug in late, but Ocon should be able to look at it, but it depends on what the steward says. The two of them were out. I don't know what they were thinking. One was not looking out, one arrived late. That almost happened between George Russell and Max Verstappen, in which they both ran out. These are things they could have find a way not to allow to happen, but this is racing. Anything can happen in racing. The qualifying will be another great one. I can tell you, when we get to qualifying, I'll give you more gist. But tomorrow's race, you don't want to miss it. Tomorrow's race is going to be outstanding. It's going to be great. Yeah. Now, the qualifying was quite interesting. Quite a good qualifying. What a pole position for Max Verstappen again. Pole in sprint race, pole in the main race. Won the sprint race. What will he do tomorrow in the main race? It was quite a good one. With Ferrari's pace, Ferrari's been the major talk of the season. Ferrari's pace coming and going like a swizzling bell. Fortunately today they had quite a pace. Was the pace good enough? No, but they had quite a pace, and they came into the qualifying in blazing guns. Did quite a good job. Isaac Aja pulled out the first red flag of the race. Lost the control of the car, spun into the barriers, and that was a huge one for him. Lost it all, and that was the end of the qualifying for him. Now, in the Q1, we had Hülkenberg continued his great run of the weekend, qualified into Q2, and through the weekend he has had a great job done, except for the sprint race in which he took 3 drivers out. in one turn racing incidents. And Tsunoda and Colapinto were able to scrape their way into Q2 because Lance Stroll has his time deleted and Alex Albon had his time deleted. Quite good lap for both drivers, but unable to keep it neat and tidy on the track. Went out in some places and they lost their time. Ferrari looks a little bit better. At least in this qualifying, their car performed better. Hopefully it will perform tomorrow because that car is a performance headache for Ferrari. It's difficult to tame. I think one of the designers said they built the car on the edge, so the car is meant to perform on the edge. Most times because the car is on the edge, if they cannot get it maximally, the car just fall off. So that's why sometimes it comes up, perform, and in some qualifying it just disappears. And sometimes in the race it comes and it goes. And that car has been a terrible project for them this season. I hope they won't be having a trepidatory 2026. And like I said, McLaren has sunk themselves into a position in which Max Verstappen keep chipping away the points, and if he keeps chipping it away at this rate, McLaren will cry. They will regret every decision they've made this season. I hope it doesn't get to that, but it's looking like that because there is no god of luck. You build your own luck. When you have the opportunity, maximize it. There is no god of luck. You build your own luck. McLaren might be their own disaster at the end of the season. Let's leave it. So in Q2 we have Tsunoda out in Q2. Terrible job for him, seriously. The Ferraris were able to come out. Now, strategy is difficult to see or to understand for the qualifying. Even the race will be a strategic race, but for the qualifying, should you stay in the pit lane or should you come out early? You come out early, you are lined up behind the cars. Now, the track temperature might heat up the tires. The major thing that affected the qualifying today was the wind has changed position. That was why Aja had that scrape off, but the wind has changed position, so it's a little bit windy and can turn the cars away. And I think that wind today has not really favored McLaren. Probably they wake up tomorrow and they'll get lucky, but the wind has not. The wind effect has not really given them position in which they hoped for. Norris did a good job today, but Piastri was far behind. The Mercedes and Ferrari really surprised us in qualifying. We hope they can surprise us tomorrow in the race, but it still looked like a touch and go for them. Max Verstappen on pole, Lando Norris coming second, Charles Leclerc third, Russell fourth, Charles Leclerc teammate in fifth, Oscar Piastri in sixth, Kimi Antonelli seventh, Oliver Biermann in eighth, Carlos Sainz ninth, and Alonso in 10th, always ahead of his teammate. What will tomorrow race be like? It will be dicey. It will be a race filled with strategy. Remember, like I said earlier, undercut works perfectly, which means you pit first before your opponent and quickly get the tires warmed up and get a big championship rival. Meanwhile, you can also attack on that track. Now, for McLaren, do they still have that tire preservation? For other teams, how is everything going to be put together tomorrow? Well, all the answers to these questions will be until tomorrow, and then it's looking like we are going to be having a 3-horse race tomorrow, so you don't want to miss it. Please, if you've not subscribed, please press that subscribe button. It's not going to cost anything. Yeah, thank you for pressing it. Yeah, I love you. Thank you. And also, please share, like, and comment. Just comment. I love you guys. Bye till tomorrow.